Hello, level up listeners. This is your host, Dr. Leland. I know I was just live like a couple minutes ago with Addie, but I'm on a roll, guys. Okay. I know I should have put events planning. We were doing improv here. Like Mary said yesterday, improv is the best. So we're doing improv. I'm some of you and most of you in here for my LinkedIn family that are listening for this live right now know who she is. This is my special guest. I know all my guests are special to me, okay? And I know they're special to some of you as well. But today we're going to talk about really how to focus your energy on we all goes up and down, right? Our life is like that, made out of ups and downs. But how do you stay joyful? How do you stay kind to yourself, not just to others, right? So without further ado, drum roll. I should have done my drum roll in here. I have a drum roll somewhere in here on my Roadcaster, but I didn't cue it. So next time I will. Here is Cindy.
I have
Cindy, she was like, like I have somewhere in here, but I forgot already.
Drum roll, glitter, you name it. I am prepared. Thank you so much for having me.
Definitely. I'm glad that you are here. Tell me a little bit about yourself, and for those of my listeners and your, listeners also that don't know who you are, can you go back about 20 years of life for me?
So I came out of my mother's womb. Okay, not that far back. I'm a little older than 20, just a tad. So about 20 years ago is a great place to start, actually. I graduated. I have a master's degree in counseling, education, and a minor in creative writing. I say that because I love to write and I still use my writing. I am a published author, most recently of the book More Joy on Amazon. And so back 20 years, graduated, started working in an adolescent treatment center. I was the outpatient director. It was with kids and adolescents and families that were going through some really excruciating, painful things. And I led the parent program and held their hand through their stories with their adolescents that were, at the time just going crazy for them. And I set up 13 schools, support groups all over the county. I really did a lot in that role, but it was a 24-hour role. So I was on call. Back then we had a thing called a beeper, no longer, pager. So I was on 24/7 and I would get calls in the middle of the night daily. And it was just wearing on me. So I did end up taking a little hiatus and I went into pharmaceutical sales. Had a friend in it. It looked super engaging and fun because I'm really creative, and she was doing creative things to reach out to her doctors at that point. And I was giving her all these ideas and I was like, wait a second, I should be doing this. So I was like, but how am I going to get hired? But it took a long time. It took 9 interviews with this one company. I ended up getting hired. Loved pharmaceutical sales, did great, was rookie of the year. And after that, I ended up having kids and wanted to stay home and be a mom. So I did that for 7 years, stayed home. But then when I stayed home, I ended up getting involved in virtual education, which has been amazing. So I was actually part of the first online high school ever, and that was in 2004. So I consider myself a veteran in the online world. Older than dirt, people. Before the internet was created, there I was. Um, someone in our chat remembers pagers. Yes, those were a thing. Kind of.
Yeah, Janice actually. Hey, Janice. Yeah,
That's where it all began. And then it went to the big phone with I carried around the bag phone. You remember those?
yeah.
With the
It's
big,
huge
blinky
though. I
antenna.
had one. Like it's this big for. It looks like we're going to war with the military. It was huge. Yeah.
So funny. So then let's say I went first, stayed home, virtual education, loved it. Was an academic coach for over 10 years, dealt with thousands of families, helping them navigate through difficult circumstances through their education journey. When the world was so against at that point online learning, I was the guru, and I am still actually a big advocate of untraditional approaches I believe in world schooling. I have helped world school two children who are now in Australia. One's graduating high school right now. So I have done a lot. I had like my own side business called Success Partners, and that's when the pandemic came. Everybody knew who I was, like, within circles. So I was getting calls all the time, and I was homeschooling people from Florida, Australia, all around the world, because the parents really aren't equipped, yet they were just dumped their child to, okay, now it's your turn. Well, they weren't ready for that, and kids don't respond well to their parents teaching them. Yes, right, Janice? All about it. We could go on for hours about that's a whole,
Yeah.
broadcast.
Yeah.
So anyhow, after virtual education, I was schooling these two boys. Their parent worked for the company that I recently belonged to. It is a candle company, and we needed to get into team building virtually because everything went to that with all the companies needing to gather their employees and boost their morale. And since I was already schooling the children, it was like they already saw how I am on camera and how I related. And they were like, we need her. So that's how that came about. I did, that was not a planned thing. So I was doing team building for the last 2 years. Companies like Amazon, Google, TikTok, Microsoft, L'Oreal, all the big names. I've done every single Fortune 100 company, I think. And I love it. Because this is my world. I'm just used to being in the virtual realm and building relationships. That's the difference. There's people that can just be here, but then there's people that these are my people. Like,
Yes. Yes.
and we're just like right now, we're like having coffee together. Like we know each other really well.
Yeah. Oh my God. Okay. So Janice is like, I'm fun, but like, nope. I'm homeschooled for 9 months and it was very hard. My eldest didn't like working with me. I homeschooled for a long time.
Even my own kids.
Yeah.
No kid likes working with their parents.
No, mine 3 years. Like, I literally taught them math, English, everything from the very beginning. So when my kids do something, I'm like, haven't I taught you? They're like, Mom, that was like a long time ago. Like that was, and I don't know how to teach any other way in math other than Chinese math. And so when they went to school, they're like, Mom, this was so difficult. They want me to show all this work. I just multiply because that's how you taught us. I was like, oh man, they're going backwards with how to calculate things. By the time they're already calculated, we're already up to China. Like, where's happening here, And my kid's like, Mom, stop teaching me Chinese math. It's not working in our school. I was like, oh, okay. And we use abacus. We don't use calculator. We use literally woods to calculate. And that's how my grandfather taught us. And my daughter's like, Mom. No, I know, but she's like, Mom, we need Texas. I'm like, what? And she's like, Mom, you're so primitive. It's not even funny anymore. And I'm like, fine. I remember using calculator. Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't keep, with today's technology, my kids blow me away. They're in their little, early 20s, and they just like, so I'm primitive to them. They're like, Mom, really? You're going to ask me how to do a TikTok?
Right. And they're like, your Facebook. Oh yeah. That's like for mom space. I was like, oh, wow. Thanks. Like, oh, that is so hard.
So in a couple years in, so I'm still doing the team building. I became extremely depressed. I had a big marital issue going on that was dragged me down. And when I say down, I'm talking to the bed. I'm talking couldn't get up. Deep depression, sleeping, crying. If I did get up, there was tears in my eyes, in my throat. I was going through a really, really hard time. And the way I am, you see me now, is my norm, but I was not anywhere close to where I am right now. Okay. So I was almost non functioning. And so one night I was sleeping and I got a little wake up call and I was told, get out of bed. I designed you for more. I designed you for joy. This is not okay. You need to start seeking joy every day. And at first I was like, I didn't know where to start. I had no energy whatsoever. But I knew I heard I had to get out of bed and start living again. And how to that, I mean, I was completely out of character. Like I didn't even know this person that was in bed. Okay. And so I started little by little seeking and looking for joy in all these different ways, changing my mindset, my behavior, my actions, journaling. And I never intended for this book to come alive. I wasn't doing it for a book. I was doing it for my therapeutic way for myself. And what happened was by going through all these steps, I ended up joyful. And so I was like, oh my gosh. And guess what? My circumstances were still the same. Okay. That's how I knew it worked because the outside, despite my circumstances, I was now this person that you see. But nothing else changed but me. So I decided, wow, if I can do it, other people could do it. And other people might need what I have. So that's when I turned it into a book. So that's how I became an author. And now, my goal is.
I'm like, okay, show your
that
book
again.
now. I want to see that book. Show your book. I see it. There you go. And it's on Amazon, right?
Yeah.
More Joy?
Yes, it's on Amazon. And what I love about it is, let me give you I just opened any page. So it has a quote that could be by me, by someone else famous, by a Bible quote, could be anything on that side. Then it's my reflection. And then it has ponder this, and it has questions for you to reflect yourself. Because again, that journaling piece is so important in how I got to where I am. So that's how the book is. And then it has like other really cool stuff like 52 action items to get your joy on, like right.
Oh, I love that. I love action. Like we can talk about it until we're blue in the face.
Action all day.
Yeah. That is so good. So like, how do you help organizations today, especially like leaders, right? Business leaders today are scrambling to keep their employees in, right? Especially teachers, right? We're really in need of teachers.
Yes, let's talk about teachers. My heart is for teachers. And I think it was on the broadcast I did yesterday, if you were listening. Teachers right now are on my heart. One, because I'm an educator, but two, what I see is no support from above, because even those people don't know what they're doing and how to navigate the waters. And you've seen the statistics. The kids are like 2 years ish or more behind. Mm-hmm. You can't get that back overnight. No. And the system's kind of broken. So anywho, then so the teachers don't get the support. They're also just like me and you, human, right? Burned out, have stuff going on, family stuff. They're sandwiched in between all this stuff. Like they already have their plate full, right? They get no support from above, but then they're responsible for these precious children's education, which is the most important thing in the world, right? And those poor kids, it's not their fault, but they're just not getting what they need. And that's another reason why I'm all for untraditional education, but I was for that a long time before the pandemic. But it's just, if I could just focus on teachers and get their joy back so they could spill their joy over to the kids, I'd be winning. I would love to do that.
I mean, we need to make that happen. Honestly, we need to make that happen. And we're going to start with the local schools. Like, That's what I was actually thinking too. I'm actually grateful and blessed that my kids didn't have to get, no school. They actually go to a small Christian school. So they went to school even during the pandemic. They had masks, they had mandates, right? Because it's different rules for state funded schools versus private school. And so I was
Right.
grateful that my kids weren't behind, but I also see some of their friends that like really they were already behind pre-pandemic and now they're really going to be super behind,
Right.
right? But what's really
Right.
heartening is
Right.
the government has a lot of funding and money to inject it in the school, but why are these kids at the end of the day the customers are not getting what they're needing, which is education, right? And then these are our future leaders, Cindy.
Right.
These are our future
Right.
presidents and business owners that are behind already.
Right.
Scary,
Absolutely.
scary thought.
And I'm sure it's important to you. But so legacy is super important to me. And this leads into legacy because these children are all of our legacies, right? What we're leaving on earth. If we don't leave this earth better than when we found it, we're all to blame for that. It's all of our responsibilities, right? And it just breaks my heart. And I'm here until my last breath. I will be fighting to make things different. And leave my legacy, which is, it's not about my legacy, but it is because I don't want to leave the world without knowing it's a better place than when I got here.
Yeah, you're not alone in that. And thank God for our community that we all are taking our experiences, bad, good, indifferent, the bad, the good, and the ugly, right? That's a movie, actually. Um, and we're taking that and fueling ourselves to help better our community. I think the more adversity that we go through, like the pandemic, where everyone in the world, regardless skin color, race, poor, rich, we're actually going through that
Yes.
experience. What's born from that is
Love
us helping each other to build a better community where we're not selfish. We're actually trying to help and be a
yes.
selfless people. And I love that because you're not alone in your journey now. We have a community. Now I want to pivot a little bit about
Think
what
about
are
this.
you,
This is
yeah,
the way it used to be a long time ago. Family communities were very small when they think about way back, right?
yeah.
We are supposed to be a close knit community. That's how it was intended till obviously the world, had all the technology and everything got spread out.
Yeah, I
But we
remember
should all be
too.
a small knit community.
Yeah, we used to not have technology, no Google, no iPhone, no Siri, no nothing, right? And what do? Like I grew up in the
Thank
Philippines. We don't even have electricity. So what do? We tell stories from the war when my grandma went through World War II and what she did with her family and when they got invaded and because I live in a house, I grew up in a house, it had like I think it was like 10 or 16 bedrooms. It's a huge house. But I was always wondering why we're not allowed to go down. Like it's not really a basement, but it looks like a basement, but it's like it's underground. And I told my grandma, and I'm like, it leads to the beach. I went and sneak in one time, and it's a huge house in the city. And then when you go underground, it's like you have to walk 10 minutes. And then when you get out, it's the beach. And I told my grandma, I'm like, okay, there's something going on here in this house, grandma. And she's like, yeah, see, during the war, we used to keep Americans here so that they wouldn't get murdered, from the war. And so
Wow,
that's
what a
how she got
history.
exposed to the military is there. And she said, I had to shave my head and put the bottom of like the pots like dark to make her really super dark. She was a pretty woman. Like her parents are from Spain.
Wow.
And so she had to shave her head. Her sister has to look like men. They had to bang themselves so they don't show any front. They had to like pretend they're boys. And she said, it was a difficult time, and then what makes it worse is that,
That seems like, well, compared to the pandemic, which we all compared about, that is way worse that she lived through.
oh yeah. And she said, what's really bad is like when she has 16 kids, 16, a lot. I know. One of her daughters, okay, married Japanese. And to her, that broke her heart because the Japanese invaded the Philippines and something really bad happened in one of her sister with the Japanese. I'm not even going to go through it. And it broke her heart to the point where she was just having anxiety, even just saying that word. And yet one of her daughter married a Japanese. So it's really hard for her to kind of process. But at the end of the day, she was so smart and understood that that's life, right? You can't pick sometimes and choose someone to love for. But I mean, the stories that she tells me, I was like, oh, and I think that's probably why the reason I love to like do stories and like leadership conventions and stories. Like, how did you get here? How do you actually get joy more into leaders? And that's what I want to pivot is, you know, I felt like you have discovered your purpose, which is to support teachers and anybody who wants to shift their mental health and their life.
Yes.
You don't have to have a mental breakdown to shift whatever that's
No,
you're unhappy, right?
mental I like to look at it as mental wellness more in a positive way than the other word. I think we should have that shift. I think it's coming, but
Yeah.
we all are the same. We're more the same than we are different. Let me tell you, we all have the same exact emotions. Things happen to all of us every day. So we're more alike than we are different. And again, it goes back to, like you said, the community and coming together. If people just share their stories and their vulnerabilities and their resources, we can really do a lot in this world together.
Yeah. Collaboration is the key to our purpose, right?
The key,
That is so true. I have a
absolutely.
question for you.
It's
Now,
breaking up a little bit on my.
am I breaking up on your side? Is our internet not working? Doing live and our internet's
Okay.
not working.
Okay.
What is your
Okay.
lifetime
Okay.
career
Now it's
goal? What is your lifetime career goal?
What is my lifetime career goal?
Yeah.
Oh, that's an awesome question. Well, first of all, I started my second book yesterday. And that's a whole nother story because it really should have come out, that book, 7 years ago. But every year I only write like a chapter of it and I put it away. So it's like been coming. And so that book is going to come out this year. I'm determined. I already have 10 chapters mapped out, which is really good. So but my ultimate life goal is to be standing on a platform stage. It could be radio, it could be wherever, but I want to impact millions of women. Not that I don't love men, it's nothing against men. It's that my heart is just for women. I have just a strong calling. I've walked in all those shoes, and I know what it takes to live a joyful life and despite your circumstances. And we all have circumstances. They all might be different, but we all have them.
Can you give
So
us
yeah, I would like to affect millions of people.
perfect? Can you give us 3 to 5 steps, actionable steps on how we can get there?
Okay, I have to repeat it because it broke up. Actionable steps for
Getting more joy, right?
it
About your
broke.
book.
I
How do
can't
you
hear you.
you can't hear me at all? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me okay now? Are you okay? Uh-oh. Cindy. I think we lost Cindy. I was asking her 3 to 5 added value on how we can actually make sure that we have more joy in our life. For me, for sure, is being grateful for what you have and what you don't have. Making sure that you are serving your mental wellness, health, however you want to say it. I'm not too sensitive with the words because I don't put so much value in it in terms of like what's the difference between wellness, health, or whatever. I just see it as if you have physical health, which is exercising, eating right and all that, you should have mental health, which is talking to people that gives you joy, gives you plenty of things to talk about, and also being grateful and journaling. Sometimes people don't journal, and that's okay. Janice's meditation. Yes, I love meditation. I just started meditation probably after my mother in law died in September from cancer. I started meditation again because it just hurt too much to see my husband suffer and giving back. And I love to give back. And Janice, thank you so much for saying giving back because that is something that people nowadays, especially in LinkedIn, that I'm seeing more and more. And I'm so happy to actually see that people are giving back more, right? They are doing some things that most of us didn't even know we could do, which is create an opportunity for everyone to be together, to actually be on a platform and, have podcasts and having technical issues. Also, Janice, if you want to come over, I given you a link. You're more than welcome to come over as well and have a conversation on gratitude and health and giving back. And I'm hoping Cindy will be able to come back. I think she might be having some internet issues. I don't I don't actually. Hopefully she's here. Oh, she's here. She's back. Yay! And I was like, what happened?
Hopefully you can do something with the recording.
MP3 for sure. This one is live, so we can't cut anything. But that's okay. That's what technology is all about, and I can definitely
It is what it
continue.
is. And it's
Right?
okay.
It is.
And
And
guess
we
what?
did it.
Oh, that brings up such a great point. Okay. I'm going to use an example. So,
Okay.
and it goes into your question. I think your question was how to have how to have joy or something
Yep.
like that. And then we
Yep.
got cut off. Okay. So technology breaking up during this reminds me of this cup. So my friend sent me this last week. And she was like, oh, I was in the store, saw this, thought of you. It says cup of joy. But when it arrived from North Carolina, it was broken. So there's cracks here because we'd had to put it back together. Okay. And at first I was like, oh my gosh, that's so sad. Like I wanted to use this cup. And then all of a sudden I was like, isn't that the truth? Like you could still have joy with all your cracks, with all your problems, with all like that's who you are. You are cracked. I am cracked and I have joy. And I was like, this is the best cup ever. So getting into so that leads into mindset, right? And how you can control and choose joy. Now, when I was going through my deep, dark depression, I had to choose joy literally by the minute sometimes. Literally, I would have a phone to my ear playing music, trying to reprogram my head, walking around my house. I was, utilizing meditation, journaling, getting to with my surrounding myself with only uplifting, empowering people. I was doing everything that I could. And some of the things that I learned that you could do like immediately that will uplift you. Now, you may or may not believe on this, but it is true. Yes, gratitude, Janice, is number one. I mean, that is just without saying gratitude. But getting off social media is right under that.
I agree. I agree with getting off social media
Come
because
back. Oh, good. It came back.
yeah,
Okay.
social media
Right
is
under
so
that,
toxic.
Janice, I'm going to say that social media can drag you to dark places.
Cindy is gone again. OMG. This is part of having live, right? This is why most of the time I don't do live discussions because of this. But it's actually really good to show you that even when you're super prepared for everything else, there's always some things that are unprepared that's happening. For me, the three things that I want you guys as a takeaway is definitely one is gratitude, right? Being grateful, and also look at the things like instead of focusing on all your negatives, focus on what is happening in your life that's actually positive. That helps me a lot when I pivot to all my depression and anxiety last year. And also making sure that when you are at that moment where you feel down, look at by writing, especially if you're a visual learner, by writing things down, what is positive about your life. Your only focus and your intentions is just to look at what's positive and not the negative, because negative, it will always come. It's like your life is yin and yang. It's always going to have negative and positive. But just keep in mind that the rain and all the clouds and everything else that you're going through right now is not permanent. Okay. It's gonna move through just like any other clouds. Right?
Yes. And on that point, so right to piggyback on that, whatever you focus on expands. So if you're looking for negativity, I guarantee you will find it. And when you look for positive things, you will find that as well. And not only that, the more positive things you look at and look for, it propels it and you get more towards you. So it's like it boomerangs, and you have, like, my whole life almost right now is very joyful, not at all times. I'm not going to say 24/7. I definitely was in a funk recently and talked about that. But in general, the more joy I give out, I get like 10 times back the joy. So it really matters how you carry yourself. Oh, yay.
Hi.
I'm like, let's go party and let's just break the internet while we're at it. It doesn't matter.
Hi.
Nice to meet you.
Unexpected hair is getting done tomorrow, but you know what? It is what it is.
Oh,
I know, right?
you look gorgeous. I look like that every day.
I know, me too, in a bun. Oh my gosh. So we were in this conversation about how to get more joy. And you literally said there, meditation, gratitude, and giving back. So how do you actually give back to our community, Janice?
Volunteerism is huge in my life. So I started my career actually as a volunteer manager, and that was like my first real job. And doing that, I have to say, was the best thing ever, because I realized to grow a volunteer team, the only paycheck you're giving people is a thank you. So I really learned at 24 years old that the most important thing you can do is to see somebody and thank them. And so therefore, I have lived my whole life that way. When I became a boss, when I was running nonprofits, how you treat other people is vital. And then I also continue to give back. I'm always volunteering in my community. I volunteered through like my kids' schooling. And then when that ended, I volunteered with my mayor and launched a citywide event. It's just part of my core, and I love it. It
I'm
feeds
so
my
glad.
soul.
See, that's what
And that brings a lot of joy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? I'm so glad we're having this conversation, because I think volunteerism is something that we can always, because people always say, I don't have time to give you because I'm working, but you're always putting yourself and your time as something with value. And if you volunteer, there is no value. Actually, that comes from the heart. That comes from the heart, because you're not getting paid, but you're still doing it because you love it. Like, I could see us
You are getting paid though.
Well, not with monetary wise. People
You
always
get
think
paid
monetary. Yeah.
not monetarily, right? Right.
Yeah.
It is so self-rewarding.
It's
It is.
kind of selfish in some ways too, It's like
I do it because I want to watch my kids. Like, what are they doing at school? So I volunteer as like the lunch duty supervisor, because I want to just see what my kids are doing at school. So that definitely is the selfish part on me. I'm like, what are they doing? What are they getting into trouble? Right. So definitely. What about your career, Cindy, that inspires you to keep going?
Well, just my own my why is what inspires me every day to wake up, that I just want to make the world better. I want to have a ripple effect of joy and, on other people. So that's just what wakes me up in the morning and what I get excited about.
Oh, how about you, Janice?
I just keep doing it's like, it's just part of
Oh, yeah. It's in your core. How about you, Janice?
Well, Cindy, what you said, and I just posted that on LinkedIn, remembering the why. And Adidas just had a fantastic advertising campaign in the fall, and it was interviewing people about what's their why. Like Damian Lillard is a great basketball player for the Portland Trail Blazers out here in Portland, Oregon. And it's just inspiring to remember your why. And so I'm constantly going back to my why. And today, honestly, you guys have brought me such joy, because I was having a really, really hard day today. And I had so much success this week. And today I was feeling so down and I could not get up. And thank you for you guys, because I was just like, I seriously, yeah.
I'm so
See
glad
the
you're
power
here.
of one.
Yeah.
It's so amazing. It's amazing. The
Right?
power of one person could really change. And that's what it goes back to, smiling at other people. It's free. Smile at someone. You have no idea what's going on. No one may have smiled at them for a month. You don't know what they're carrying.
Right.
Assume the worst. Smile at people, right?
Right.
No one knows.
People.
We didn't know that you had a bad day.
No, we didn't. All I said on LinkedIn, Janice, come over. She's like,
yeah, you did. And I was like, no, it's Cindy.
Janice, come over.
And I don't even know you. I don't even know you guys at all. And I just appreciate
we do.
Right? Like we feel that, sister. Oh, I just noticed we actually are all wearing glasses right now. What?
Glasses?
I can't see you otherwise.
Raquel's in the chat.
I know. Raquel said party. I'm like,
I'm always here for a party.
It's too early to drink wine right now. I guess in Italy it's already okay, but right now where I'm at, it's only lunchtime. Okay, I guess we could do a siesta, right? I mean, yeah, why not?
You're on the West Coast with me. I guess it's lunchtime,
right? So I want to ask you. I'm curious now. What made you kind of like got into LinkedIn and said, "Oh, I'm gonna check it out"?
Janice or me?
Janice.
I was on LinkedIn trying to figure out a post. I've been struggling, to write my next post, to do my social media marketing that I have to do for my company. And I was just feeling like, who wants to hear from me and who wants to and I thought that self-doubt was just honestly, it was like a huge cloud over me today, and I just could not get out of it. And I went to my go-to, putting on music. That didn't work. I put on some of my meditation that inspiring speakers I love to listen to, and that was helpful. And then I came back. I'm like, get in front of your computer and get to work, right? And then I just came up with the inspiration came to me. Was like, well, why am I doing this? And then I delved into remembering my why. And I don't feel like, honestly, I believe there's no coincidences. And I believe that you saying remember the why, I just posted remember the why, and I'm here. Oh my God. Thank you.
And the fact that you are here right now is no coincidence.
Agreed. Thank you. Thank you for including me.
Of course. I saw you comments. I was like, let's go. Who else is on? Because I'm not the well-prepared I'm the most prepared person ever that I know, right? But lately, for this entire week, I'm just inspired to have my podcast. Like, Cindy actually was talking, like, is this going to be live? I'm like, yeah, it's just on LinkedIn. I have a small following on LinkedIn, but it's going to be recorded, and it's going to be on iHeartRadio. It's going to be on Twitch. It's going to be on Notion in mid-May. And it will be expanded to about 200 million people, FYI, no pressure, right? And I said, the problem with live is I can't cut this. I can't do production. It's live, right? Mm-hmm. But in my studio, I can do editing and stuff. And I'm like, I don't have a Sia. I am me. I'm Sia for all my stuff and tech.
Exactly. That's actually one of my jams is that, and I started this a long time ago. I mean, this is as dressed up as I ever would get, but like, I will come on with no makeup. Raquel can vouch. I will come on with no makeup, my hair like this, I don't care at all. Like, I'm all about being who I am and at that moment every single day to inspire. Well, one is I enjoy it, but two is to inspire other people to get permission that they could go, gosh, I mean, like, she looks like that and she's on here. I could do it. I can do it. Yes, you can do
You're
it.
calling me out. I've got food on my sweater. I am so ill prepared for this. So.
And you look great. And your
comments doesn't matter. Yeah, it's just how you show up. You showed up today for yourself. Whatever that we were talking about, whatever is Cindy is giving more joy. She literally, could live today and said, hallelujah, I gave joy to Janice, right? I mean, seriously.
Yes.
Yeah, this
one of my things
one person.
I never want anybody's life to, if I'm with you, if you're in my presence, you cannot leave happier, more joyful. And that's how I live my life. I just had a conversation with someone today about that. I think that it is partly my education and training and counseling, but mostly I am a natural connector of people. I just literally love people. Like all of them, every single person. Like it's just, I don't know how I was raised like that or whatever, but I just love people, and it shows. I think, you can't fake that.
No, no, it's
For
either there
those
or
who
it's not.
do, you can see through it. It's such a
Oh, yeah.
facade.
Yeah, Janice doesn't even know me. She's like, I guess I'll go in with my hair like this. She's like, okay, we're in safe space. Cindy and CJ, they're good. They're good people. They're not gonna do nothing, right? This is
No.
great. I'm so glad and happy that you catch in. I do want to ask you guys though this question, and I'm gonna start with Cindy. Two questions. The first one I'm gonna ask first. If you were given an opportunity to create a project and there's no money, like it's not an issue. It doesn't matter if you want $2 trillion to do your project. What kind of project would you do, and would you want to be known for that project?
Oh, yeah. Well, absolutely. Again, I already have like such ideas that I don't have the money for. Like one of my big plans is like, I want to have a bus and travel the world and spread more joy and all that. But and with sponsors, and I already have the sponsors in my head picked out. I'm like manifesting them on the back of the bus already, but it's bigger than that. Anyway, yes, the world right now is extremely dark. I hate to bring it up, but it's true, which is why I made my own community, because I needed it for me. I was getting depressed myself. Scroll, like, even though, so there's LinkedIn, and then on the sidebar is all the news that's going on, right? So you can't escape the train wrecks, the layoff after layoff after layoff. When you care about people, it's heavy. And I was I wasn't feeling good about scrolling. And so I was like, I need a place of respite that I can go and only see joyful things and talk to people about joy. Not that we don't have problems, but we help each other and support each other in an uplifting way. There's not going to be those crazy people in the comments, because I control who's in the community. Um, so, right, they're there. So, I guess my vision is big. I want to impact joy. I want more people to have joy, peace, love around the world. And I know, honestly, I'm just a little pebble, nothing in the world to even make that happen. But, I still feel like the power of one. I made Janice's day. You made Janice's day. I had two other people today. I made their day. So I'm winning today.
High five. Come on, ladies. Let's high five. That's right. We are winning today. How about you, Janice? Your turn.
If I could change the world, I think I have this conversation a lot with my family. Like, if I could rule the world, things would be a lot differently. I really, right now with my business and with my product that I invented, I want to bring comfort to the world.
I want to
And
hear about your product.
my product,
Yeah.
right
You want
next
to
to
see
me.
it? Come on,
It's my-
shameless plug.
Yeah.
Let's go.
I've been
It's
looking at
healthy.
your stuff. What is that?
I reinvented the pillowcase because
Okay.
my dad was in a nursing home, slumped over, really uncomfortable. And I was like, I can't help him for his end of life experience, but I can help him be more comfortable. So I invented a way to support your head and neck while
Okay.
resting in an upright position. It's a pillow. Let me show you this one. It's a pillowcase. This is my original. This is my horizontal Talcy.
Okay, can show me, like, that would go behind you
Is
while
it on the neck? How does it?
like that.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
That
I
makes
like that. Oh, everybody needs one of
car,
those.
Yeah, so everybody needs
airplane,
one.
what? Okay.
Everywhere. Yeah,
I
supportive.
use it for lumbar support on my chair. Sia has it on her chair. And then it comes with a bonus pillow. So if you're sitting upright and you want to be a little bit more erect, but it's depressed enough that if you fell asleep, you're still caught on the sides. And it also gives you acupressure for your occipital nerve, which releases stress. You can take it on an airplane. It turns into a tote bag. So you strap it to your
Oh my gosh, how brilliant
Janet,
is
what
that?
is the link? Can you send me the link on LinkedIn right now so I can share it as well?
Sure. It's tausibrands.com, TAUSI brands.com.
Is
And
Tausi the name of your dad?
pardon me?
Is Tausi your dad?
No, Tausi is derived from a Samoan word meaning caring for.
Okay.
And I just really wanted, I have to say the first time people experience Tausi and lean back into it, everybody does the same thing. It is, and actually, thank you so much, Constance. It has an S at the end of brands. So it's
Oh,
brands.
Sassy Brands. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. That was
Yeah.
so nice. Um, but anybody who uses it, they all say the same thing. They say, oh, I needed that. And I think it honestly is a old memory that everybody had being cradled as a baby. And we were in the nook of somebody's arm at one point in our lives. And this returns you to that familiar and long forgotten feeling of actually just being cared for. And during the pandemic, I was giving away so many of my Telsies to people who were in nursing homes who didn't have family around them because they could feel hugged. And
That
so,
is
I
beautiful.
needed this actually in September when my mother-in-law was in hospice. This would have been a really, I don't want to cry. This would have
uh,
been a really good time for her. She was very uncomfortable towards the
yeah.
end of her life.
And it's this, I want people to, I'm sorry, Constance, it's hard.
That's okay. I'm an emotional person. I get so emotional when I like think about it. Just it was very hard. Last year, my daughter's best friend, she was 14 and she died from brain cancer. And it's just looking at that life and it's like, wow, I wish that we could do more. And we're complaining about our situation today when literally it could end today. What are you doing for your community and the world that is different? And that's why I do my podcast to inspire the world because I think we need more people who are positive. I'm sorry.
No,
No, we do.
it's huge. It's
Apologize.
And it's a lot to do that. And so even just a simple pillow, like it just looks simple, but like I wish I did have it for her in her end of life to get comfortable. I'm seeing your video. I'm like, oh yeah, that would have been perfect. Thanks. Like after the fact. And I hopefully I suffer from migraines. And so sometimes I think it's my neck thing. I've spent so much money on bed. It's like my bed's like $5,000 to do this and that, and it's still happening. And I'm like, and then I bought more pillows, and it still doesn't work. So I'm gonna definitely try yours because
try
I
this,
need
'cause
them. Yeah,
it definitely it gives that acupressure back there, which releases for your migraines. So it's, hitting back the back of your neck is a pressure point to relieve migraines. Acupressure for, I'm sure you've done acupressure before for migraines. I get migraines too, and I use this. And should you get one, I'll send you both of my foams because I've got my first foam felt a little too hard, so you can just try it out. I'll add
Let
a
me ask
bonus.
you have a manufacturer that made that for you, or do you
A
sew it?
woman-owned manufacturer. Hello.
Wait,
In
but do
America.
you sew it yourself or no?
No, there's a woman in Oregon. I really sought out to support women businesses while building my brand. So my zippers are from a company in Los Angeles, a family-owned company. I really worked hard to find it. And then here in Oregon, there's a woman who owns a printing company. And during the pandemic, she's shifted to PPE. And she said that she would take on my project. And our sons introduced us. Our sons were friends. And he's like, Mom, she has a manufacturer, and maybe call her. And so it was really a cool story. And she's making it, and I can go see, Patty's the one who sews it. And it's just, you know,
I
I
love
love giving people living wage.
yeah. You're actually not just helping the community, but you're also hiring people that needs those jobs. So it's like a cycle of good effect. And
Mhm.
there's no expectations and other than having good quality product to put comfort out there to the
It's just,
world. So yeah.
I think everyone should be comfortable, even people who are making the product, every component. The people who are involved in the components of it need to be comfortable. So that's
right.
was my goal.
That is so cool. Now,
That's
last
beautiful. I love
parting
it.
question for everyone. I'm gonna start with Cindy. Cindy, I actually went to a part of my program actually for my other master's degree is looking at interviews on people who makes the difference in the world platform, right? And I watched an interview live actually with His Holiness the Dalai Lama, and he said, Change begins within you. Use compassion to change your world and ultimately our world. So, Cindy,
Absolutely.
how do you change or how do you hope to change the world?
Well, first, I'm going to circle back with it is so important to take care of yourself and be compassionate with yourself. And especially we as women, I think that a lot of women think it's selfish, think you shouldn't do it. We don't get the support for it. But self care, if we don't fill our own cups up and really take care of ourselves, we have nothing to give out. Just a week ago, I had given out way too much. And I you have to protect your energy and your peace too. And I just kind of got rattled off and lost control, and I needed to pull myself back in. I took at least 5 days off of posting off LinkedIn, and I just sat with myself and did the things that I like to do. I took baths, read books. I didn't look at my computer all the time. I really went into myself to replenish myself. So first of all, you have to be compassionate and care about yourself before you can give it out to the world. Then, I just naturally compassionate and kind. Everyone needs to be kind to the world. There's and everything is free. Kindness is free. Smiling is free. Holding a door for someone is free. Asking, how can I help you? Anything. There's so many ways to just show compassion and kindness in this world. There's no excuse for anyone not to.
Yeah. I like that. Spreading the word like virus, but through kindness and joy. I love it. How about you, Janice? How do you hope to change the world?
Oh, I think with Cindy, her approach is the only way to be. I really do agree with that. You know, resilient mindset is really something to cultivate and build, and to be somebody who can go to look at a situation and not be the victim of situations, but to really put out there um, your love and kindness and reason of being. I don't think we're here. I do believe that we're spiritual beings having a human experience, and what I'm doing in this lifetime, I want to leave my world a better place, and I want to be not have anybody remember me as somebody who was selfish or somebody who took or somebody, I want to bring joy to my circle, and I think that reverberates, and it does begin, within myself,
Yeah.
and I'm the hardest on myself. So thanks for the reminder to do the self-care first, because sometimes life just gets in the way and you want to pop out of bed. And I try to pull back every morning, but right now I've been going against what I normally do. Normally, I spend my first hour on self-care, and the last couple days I haven't, and boy, did that impact me. So, good reminder today. So thank you, ladies, for kind of kicking me back into my track that I have to go back to. So
We
thank
all
you.
have to have friends that do that. Literally,
Yeah.
I have friends that will go, read your own book.
Yeah. Yeah. Practice what you preached, Cindy, today, right? I love it. I just wanted to also highlight where you guys can get the tossybrands.com. And Cindy actually has her own community. If you guys want to check it out, get more information on how you could bring joy in a structured manner and something that you could use. Cindy's LinkedIn is this. And also for Janice, I believe this is yours, right?
It is. And I have to say, we all go hand in hand together, because if you're listening to a podcast, you want to be comfy. If you're reading a book, you want to be comfy. Put your book on your lap for a better sight line. Like, we got something going on here.
Right? It's a good energy too. It's like, okay, today I need my mindset to be changed and how to be happy. Cindy, are you available? Like, seriously, I'm so uncomfortable. Janice, send me those pillows right now. I love it. I'm so glad. And thank you so much for being here. Despite our
You think it
technical
made your day,
issues.
it made my day too. This was so fun. Thank you for having me. Honestly, I love the way things just flowed the way they were supposed to flow. There was
Mm.
no plan for this. In fact, we weren't even supposed to go live today. It was supposed to be
No, I told you I'm on this roll. Like, it's called an unplanned plan. Okay, we're gonna go for it. Like, it doesn't matter because you don't know what's involved and you don't know what's going on. And the fact that you are super honest to tell us like where you're at. And I apologize for crying. I don't usually cry, okay, but I just it
No,
brought
I
back
loved
so
it.
much emotions. Like, I wish I had that before, you know. And I'm gonna probably buy one for my grandma too because my other grandma is in hospice right now, so I'm going to give that to her. And my mom has some issues. So I was like, okay, I think we're going to have Christmas in April. You know what I mean? Like, just
Use
buy
the
some
code
Christmas-
DAD for $39 off.
Okay. Wait, what was that code?
Wait, what was that? DAD, DAD. I have
Oh.
a special right now because I just little tiny side note, I got my patent on Tuesday, my utility patent, on the anniversary of my mom's passing.
Oh,
It's like this kind of like this whole now I'm gonna cry. This whole thing was bookend, you know, by my parents, and I lost both of them during this. And so to be able to give comfort to your grandmother, to be able to give comfort, you know, like that is like where we treat our babies so special. We buy them every single solitary thing, our babies. But when it comes to our seniors, we're not good in this country about giving them the most comfort and
True.
giving them like they're, you know, they need mattress pads. And my mom was getting one for my dad, and it was scratchy, and she's like, that just feels uncomfortable. I'm like, Mom, let's go to the baby section. The baby section at Target is going to have a lot more prettier things, comfortable things. And she was so upset because it's true. And I'm like, I'm tired of our seniors who have worked so hard to be cast aside. They deserve to be comfortable. And that's
I
why I
agree.
started my business.
They deserve more joy.
Yes, right. Seriously, they do. And I actually wanted a project. Hopefully, someone's listening to this, but I saw in Japan where older women, seniors, were trying to steal something from like 7-Eleven so they can go to jail.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, and so the reason being is because their family left them on the side. I said, what would it be super cool if, you know how we have Medicare, Medi-Cal, we put money into it? How about we have a volunteer hours that we put into it, like Medicare, Medi-Cal, like 10 hours a week or whatever. And by the time you hit 67, someone else is volunteering to take care of you. So it's a cycle. Our kids will always have an older person who's lonely out there, who doesn't have food, who doesn't have someone check them in, to actually volunteer in their community and put those hours, you know, like, oh, I'm 67, I'm going to collect those volunteer hours. Can you imagine if we have that?
That would be really neat. I love that idea.
Yeah.
I do
cat.
too.
I love cat. Okay, my dog's not here today right now. I have a cat and I have a dog. Oh, that's so cute. See, those
He wants
bring
to walk on the keyboard.
joy to me, that's for sure.
Yeah. I love that idea of banking. You know, that would be amazing. So if you could change the world, your thing would be to really harness people's energy, give back as I love that. I love that.
That would be mine for sure. Well, thank you, ladies, for being here today. I appreciate you so much.
It was awesome. I loved it. Day made.
Bye. Happy Thursday. It's not Friday yet. I almost said happy Friday. Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Thank you.